Hello everybody, welcome to the Google Digital Garage. Before we get started today, just a few little bits and pieces to make sure that you can all see and hear me correctly. So first of all, if you're having any trouble with your sound or picture or anything else like that, the best thing you can do is just refresh the page, refresh the video, or close down and reopen your app. That usually fixes most problems. If you're still having issues, especially with buffering, then if you go to the bottom right corner of your YouTube video, there's a little cog there. If you click on that cog, then you will be able to see your YouTube settings, and from there you'll be able to modify them so hopefully the video plays a little bit better. So welcome to creating video for YouTube. Welcome to the Google Digital Garage. My name is Zoe. I'm one of the trainers for Google's free digital skills training program, which is the Google Digital Garage, and I'm going to be taking you through this today. So a bit about myself. So I am a marketer. I'm a digital marketer by trade. I've been working in marketing for about 9 years or so, as well as training people in marketing and digital skills, as well as diversity and inclusion and some other topics. And obviously, having worked with digital media for so long, I have also worked with plenty of clients on creating video for their YouTube channels, which is what we're going to be looking at today. I'm not alone. I'm not the only person from Google Digital Garage who's going to be helping you guys out today, because in the chat, we've also got our wonderful moderator, and that is Roshane. Now, Roshane is going to be in the chat talking to you guys. She's going to be sharing links. If we've got any helpful links for you, she's going to be asking you questions. And of course, she's going to be answering your questions as well. So if you've got anything that you need to ask throughout the course of this session, feel free at any point to just pop into the live chat. You do need a YouTube account in order to do that. But it only takes sort of 30 seconds to set one up. And you can pop into the chat and just talk to Roshane and ask whatever questions you've got to ask. Roshane will be answering some of them, and she'll also be passing some of them over to me, because we do have some question and answer breaks built into this session. So we should have 3 of them coming up today. And then, yeah, we'll be able to potentially get to any questions that are a little bit more complex than Roshane's able to answer just down in the chat. So ask away, ask anything that you need to ask, and we will absolutely be there to answer. Just a few hellos I can see. Hello to SR Shanin, hello to Tunji, hello to Ikra, hello to G&G Talent Solutions. Great to see everyone here. Hopefully I'm pronouncing all of those names right. Please do tell me if I'm not. Excited to see you all here, and hope that you enjoy the session. Just before we start, there's a few little bits of housekeeping. So first of all, if you would like to see any other webinars from Google, from the Google Digital Garage, that is, then all you need to do is go to the link in our video description, which will take you to all of our webinars. Now, every single one of our webinars is completely free, and it's just like this one. All you need to do is sign on to a YouTube video, and you'll be able to get started right away. Join the chat, join the discussion, and again, there's no cost whatsoever, no charge. Most of our sessions are about an hour long. There are a few that are shorter, but you can sign up to absolutely all of them in the link in the video description. So please do make the most of that. The next thing is the contents of today's session. What is there that you can actually expect from today? So we're going to be looking at 3 main things. You'll find that most of our sessions are split up into 3. Part number 1 is about finding your niche, working out, what is it that you're actually passionate about? What is it that you would like to record a YouTube video about, or create a YouTube channel about? But also, who is your audience, and what do they want to see? And what do they want to listen to and watch? And then we're going to look at how you go about the practical basis of creating great content. How do you shoot a video? How do you film it? How do you sort the lighting and the sound? How do you plan it out? We're going to look at all of that. And then finally, we're going to look at how you can get a little bit more discoverable on YouTube, because YouTube's a bit like a search engine. In fact, some people would say it's the 2nd biggest search engine in the world after Google, because people use it like a search engine. It has got a search function. And if you're looking for a particular video, you're going to go to that search function and search for it. So how do you get discovered on that search function? How are you going to make sure that people actually see your video, and your video is what comes up in the search? So one last thing before we get fully started. We do have free one-to-one mentoring available at the minute from Google. So anybody who works for a small business or a charity and is based out of the UK, unfortunately, it is only UK based at the minute. I'm not sure if there are any plans to roll it out. But if you do work for a small business or a charity based in the UK, you can access a free one-to-one mentoring session. It's just over a video call, so you don't have to leave your living room for it. And it is completely free, hour long, and you get that full hour with a one-to-one session with a mentor from Google, just like myself, another experienced Google Digital Garage coach who will be able to help you out. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, to do with your business, growing your business, your digital marketing, anything like that. So do take advantage of that. The link there on the screen is g.co/UK mentoring, and I'm sure Roshane will be sharing it in the chat as well. Brilliant. So let's get started. So YouTube, why would we bother with YouTube in the first place? Well, first of all, YouTube has got 2 billion logged in users every single month. That's 2 billion accounts logged in and visiting YouTube every month. That's almost 1/3 of the entire internet. And that's a big audience. That means more than 1 billion hours of content is watched every single day on YouTube by the variety of people. So, 2 billion users a month, 1 billion hours a day. We are watching and consuming a lot of content, which is good because we're uploading 500 hours of video every single minute. And like I mentioned before, YouTube is actually the second largest search engine after Google, as in when people want to find out something, when they want to learn, or they want to learn a skill or find out how to do something, more often than not, they're coming to YouTube. Whether that's because they want to be entertained, whether that's because they want to learn, how to bleed a radiator or cook a curry or something like that, they're going to go to YouTube potentially rather than any other search engine. So there's a huge potential audience there waiting and ready for your content. Now, YouTube has a mission, and it has 4 essential values of freedom. The mission is to give everyone a voice and to show them to the world. And these are YouTube's 4 essential values of freedom. YouTube believes in freedom of expression, meaning that you can express yourselves, you can share your story with the world. It's built upon the basis that everyone's got something important to say, and YouTube believes that people should be able to speak freely, share their opinions, and foster open dialogue. It's built on freedom of information, the belief that everyone should have easy and open access to information, and that video is so important for educating people and for building their understanding. Freedom of opportunity, meaning on YouTube, anyone can follow their passion and create something that everyone can watch and that everyone should have a chance to be discovered. And of course, freedom to belong. Everyone should be able to find communities of support, to break down barriers, to transcend borders, and to come together around shared interests and passions. So those are YouTube's 4 values. So now the first step then, if that all sounds good to you, you've got a big audience, you've got some great values, how do we go about finding our niche on YouTube? Now, finding our niche is something that some people find very easy, some people find very difficult. But it is important. It's got to be the first step whenever we talk about YouTube, whenever we talk about creating videos, is working out, right, well, who is our audience? And what exactly have you got to say that they're going to be interested in? So this is the first step. We've got to understand our what, our why, and our who. So first of all, what is your channel about? Now, at this point, this can be quite vague. Your channel could be about history or cooking or anime or car maintenance. It could be about anything. But at this stage, we can be a little bit vague. We don't have to be so specific. Because what we don't want to do is go, well, okay, my YouTube channel is about the economic history of Germany between 1784 and 1895. Only to discover that actually there's not really anyone interested in that, and you'd be better off being broader and talking about more interesting areas of the past. So, it's best to be broad, and we can narrow it down later. Then we need to think, well, why are you creating content? There's a whole range of reasons why you might become a YouTuber. Is it just for fun? Is it because you've got what you feel is an important message that you would like to share? Is it that you want to get potential work in the future, maybe as a videographer or something like that? Or maybe you've got a hobby and you want to connect with a community of other people with a similar hobby. All of these are possible, very good reasons to start a YouTube channel, but it's important to understand why. What exactly are you hoping to get out of it when you create your YouTube video? And finally, who is your audience? Who's actually going to watch your content? Is there an audience for it? And if not, maybe we should tweak it a little bit. But also, what are they expecting? What kind of tone, what kind of style, what are they hoping to get out of a YouTube video? That's your job to provide them. And what we're aiming to do here is to create a full and rounded idea of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you are aiming at it. Because that means you're going to hopefully create some content with a real purpose, rather than the difficult part with any YouTube video, with any creative endeavor whatsoever, is if everything is vague, you don't have the direction that you need to create something great. So if you're just thinking, I'm going to create a really good video, well, okay, what does that mean? You know, what good for who? What's going to be in it? What do you mean by good? Do you mean it's going to be funny? Is it going to be educational? Is it going to be a really good music video? What do you actually mean? Whereas if we know, well, okay, our channel is about scented candles and reviewing scented candles, and we're creating that content because we want to inform consumers, and we know our audience is scented candle enthusiasts, so they're already familiar with the industry, well, then you can really narrow it down and go, okay, I know what kind of thing my audience wants to hear. I know the kind of content they're looking for. I know, therefore, what my next video should be about. It's a lot easier because you've got that direction, and that's really the aim. So first, define your passion. And that's easier said than done, isn't it? So passion, we've got there the dictionary definition of it, which is a strong or extravagant fondness, enthusiasm, or desire for anything. What is it that you really love? Is it a topic or a hobby or a value or a belief? What exactly are you passionate about? Really, I would recommend anybody who sets up a YouTube channel at all, do it because you have a passion for something, whether that is film or politics or cookery, you know, anything at all. What is it you're really, really passionate about? Because the best type of YouTube videos are where people are sharing their passions. Think about what your story is as a person as well, because that's going to go into it. You know, how did you get where you are today? Do you have a story to share? And work out your goal as well. Now, we've got 3 different YouTube channels here, and we've got their 3 different goals. So first, Mama Cherry, I want to inspire people to love and cook soul food. So not just showing you the practicalities of cooking, not just I want to show people how to cook soul food. I want to inspire people to love soul food and inspire them to cook it. Not just show them how, but inspire them to do so. Very different. So there's a real goal there. Again, think about how you create that goal, how you can make it so that it's not just the basics, the blandest kind of, I want to show people how to cook this food. It's what do you actually want them to feel when they see your videos. Mama Cherry, she wants them to feel inspired. Super Sorrel there, I want to create a community of adult nostalgic toy collectors. So people who are interested in collecting, you know, toys from the 80s, maybe the 90s. Super Sorrel wants to create that community. They want to create a space online where these people can share their passions and share their interests via these videos. So again, not just I want to show people my adult toys, my nostalgic toys, it's I want to create that community around it. Again, really key distinction there. And Detailing World, I want to share my passion for cleaning cars. Again, it's not just I want to show people how to clean cars. It's I want to share my passion. I want to show them that I am passionate and hopefully connect with people who are also passionate. So think about how that applies to you. What's your goal? And how does that match up with what you potentially have to say? So think about your what and your why then. What is your passion and why are you starting a YouTube channel? And that's something that we can all share in the chat right now. If anybody wants to do that, that would be wonderful if we could see, what is your what? And by what, I mean, what is your passion? And why would you want to share that? Why is it that you would like to create a YouTube channel? So for example, my what might be politics. I'm really passionate about politics. My why might be, well, I want to spark some debate. I want to get people thinking about issues in a different way. Or maybe it's my what is makeup. I'm really, really good at makeup, but I want to show people my talent. That's my why. I want to showcase exactly what my talent is. It could be anything. I'd be really interested to see if we've got any examples from the chat. So absolutely pop them in the chat if you can. I'm going to move on at the minute, but I'd be really interested to see if we've got any answers to that in the chat. Next, we've got to define our audience. So your audience could be anybody, but remember that we're not creating content for everybody. There's no such thing as content that's created for everybody. If we're creating something for absolutely everyone, we're going to end up creating it for nobody, because you cannot please every single person at the same time. We need to tailor our audience to a specific group of people and really make content that's for them, rather than trying to make something that's going to please everybody, but then nobody's necessarily going to get passionate about, because we do want to take a little bit of risk here. So think about who your audience is. And if you can, what you can do is create something called a persona profile. And I'm going to show you an example of that right now. So this is Rohan. Rohan is 27. He works from 9 till 5. He's based in the UK. He is a car enthusiast and goes to car shows. He takes a lot of pride in his car. He goes on online forums and YouTube, and he goes on YouTube to learn new things. But he has 2 kids and he's always short of time. Now, Rohan isn't real. There's no, well, I mean, there might be someone called Rohan who is in your audience base, but the YouTube channel that has created this persona, Rohan is not a real customer of theirs. They've not created him based on any real person. What they've done is kind of chosen the average person that they might interact with. So they've worked out that their average audience member, again, not representative of everybody, but their average audience member is a 27-year-old man with a full-time job based in the UK, who's very enthusiastic and passionate about their car and going to car shows, who spends their time online, either on forums or on YouTube, again, because they're passionate, but also they want to learn more. But also, Rohan is short of time because he is a father and has 2 kids, and therefore is always a little bit short of time. So this is your representation. It's both a representation of your ideal audience, but also who you ideally, a representation of your current audience, but also your ideal audience. So it's not only thinking about who currently watches your YouTube channel or follows you on social media if you don't have a YouTube channel yet, or is a customer for your business. It's not only that, it's also who would you like to target? Who do you think you want to watch your content? And this, a little bit more, is Detailing World. So Detailing World, again, you remember they have a passion for cleaning cars. Rohan is their persona. So let's look at their what, why, and who. So what, the passion is looking after cars. So again, this is a passion. This is not just something that they're doing as a job. It's something they're really passionate about. The why, I want to share my knowledge and I want to teach others. And the who, well, we've got the persona, Rohan, the car enthusiast who loves his car, but maybe doesn't have that much time. Now we've answered those 3 questions. Do you see how much easier it could be to create videos for Detailing World? Now that we know what their passion is, we know why they're creating videos, and we know who they're trying to create videos for. Do you see how much easier it would be to create them, to write that script and to film that video? Because we've got those ideas that we don't necessarily have in any sort of other ways. So we'll take a little bit of a break now for some questions. I'm just scanning to see if we've got one. G&G Talent Solutions says, I would love a YouTube channel about travel and general positive content, as I would love to keep it light for people to escape from the daily struggles. That's a brilliant way of phrasing that, G&G Talent Solutions. And that's absolutely fantastic, because that already I kind of know the kind of content that you're going to be producing, the kind of travel content you're going to be producing. And the reason why you're doing it, keeping it light so people can escape, focusing on that sense of escapism and wonder and stuff like that. I think that's fantastic. Looking through, it doesn't look like we've got any questions right now. So I'm going to move on. But please absolutely keep them coming. If you've got any questions at any point throughout this video, then by all means ask. We love to answer them. And thank you so much, G&G Talent Solutions, for sharing your experience. So the next step then, creating engaging content, going from planning to strategy all the way through to equipment. And we're going to start with a question for you guys. So again, answer this question in the chat. What do you think makes engaging YouTube content? I'd really like to hear from you guys now. What to you counts as engaging YouTube content? Now, there is no right or wrong answer here, because it's going to be different for everybody. So for example, I really love cooking videos. I absolutely love certain types of cooking videos. The thing that makes them engaging for me, I want them to be practical. I want them to be pretty straight to the point, but I also want them to be creative. I want them to inspire me, not just to cook what they are cooking on the channel, but also to try new things and try new combinations and flavors and techniques. So I'm looking for inspiring content as well. So those are the things that, for me, makes engaging YouTube content. I'm looking for that to the point, inspiring, creative content. But of course, that answer is different to everybody. And also it's different for the same person twice, because the other thing that I think makes engaging YouTube content is listening to sort of almost, or to watching video essays where people talk at great length about a particular topic. And I mean, the longest video essay I've watched was 7.5 hours long. I didn't watch it all in one sitting. I've absolutely did not watch it all in one sitting. I think that would be way too much for me. But I have watched in multiple sittings a 7.5 hour long YouTube video, a video essay on a particular video game series. So there's different answers. That video essay is absolutely not straight to the point, and it also wasn't particularly, it doesn't inspire me to do anything, but it was really interesting. So it's always going to be different, and it's interesting to see. So Nasri, you've said filmmaking is what makes engaging YouTube content, whereas G&G Talent Solutions, genuine day-to-day content like daily routines without a lot of preparation, very human and basic. So that's great. So Nasri, you're interested in a particular topic, and that's what makes it engaging for you. Whereas G&G, you're looking for authenticity. You're looking for that, very real, very unfiltered experience of that kind of almost diary-like content. That's really interesting. And like I said, it's going to be different for everyone. So G&G Talent Solutions, I would not be engaged with that kind of content at all. That's just not the sort of thing that interests me. And that's absolutely fine, because remember, you can't make content for everybody. Everybody's different. Everyone's got different tastes. You're making content for your specific audience. And of course, the great way is there's loads of different ways to do that. So we're going to look at 4 key steps right now. So the first step is research and planning. Then we're going to look at having your equipment and getting that ready. Then we're going to look at actually creating the content. And finally, we're going to look at how to organize and edit your video. Now, obviously, this is an hour-long webinar. We're already 25 minutes in. We're not going to go into a huge amount of detail about any particular one step, but we're going to give you a brief overview and hopefully give you a good jumping off point to do your own research. So start with your research. Get inspired to create some kind of content. And what you can do is look at competitor content. You can listen to experts. You can analyze news and trends and really, really cover the type of thing that you're interested about and interested in creating content for. So for example, if you're looking at creating content around car detailing, you might want to look at what other people have already said about it. You might want to listen to the experts and see if there's any, or analyze the news to see if there are any new techniques or new trending topics in that industry that you could maybe cover. You might just want to go out and detail a car and then see what inspires you. Let yourself daydream a little bit and work out what it is that's really like inspirational, really exciting, and you're passionate about this particular topic. There are also some tools you can use to support your needs. So, for example, Think with Google. There is a Find My Audience tool on thinkwithgoogle.com. That is a really, really useful tool for working out who your audience who your audience is, and also what they're interested in. And there's also Google Trends, which lets you analyze what is currently trending, what topics are currently being talked about. And this can change seasonally, of course. We've got a screenshot there of Google Trends, looking at the key phrase World Cup, which of course is coming up soon. Looking at the interest over time in the World Cup and looking at the regions where the World Cup is the most talked about around the world, things like that. So that's a good way of working out, what are people actually talking about? What are they asking about when they are talking about that particular topic? And that might give you the inspiration you need to work out what exactly your audience is interested in, and therefore what kind of video you can create. But of course, you also want to think about the right kind of content for you. So are you going to create a one-off video, just a short, impactful hit, 3 minutes, and then just a quick 3-minute video on this one topic? Are you going to do that regularly? So regular short form video, maybe again, sort of 3 minutes long, but you could release content with a continuous theme, even if it's not the same exact video. Are you going to do longer form content? So again, 3 minutes for a short form video is one thing, and that is a good way of a good sort of time limit for getting a quick point across or showing a quick tip. But what about longer form video? I mentioned that a video that I was really engaged with was 7.5 hours long. I've sat down and watched YouTube videos. I often watch them while I'm doing other things, which a lot of people do with YouTube. But I've watched YouTube videos that are 2.5, 3 hours long easily in one sitting. And frequently I'll watch hour-long YouTube videos. I prefer long-form content. Now, I think I'm in the minority, but I prefer long-form content. It's entirely possible to release videos that are much longer than 3 minutes and still be successful. But of course, you can also have a series where you can talk about the same topic over and over again, but because you're doing it one step at a time, you're taking as long as you need to tell your story. Think about, there have been some true crime series on YouTube where they've covered one particular case in a lot of detail and they've gone into it step by step by step. So that's also an option. So loads of different options there on what the right type of content is for you. It's worth thinking what you would want to make. What kind of YouTube video would you like to broadcast to people? Because there are plenty of options. Think about a release schedule. How many videos can you release? It says there per week, but again, some creators, they create one video every 3 months or even less sometimes because they put in the work to create really, really massive, really interesting educational videos. So you don't have to release a video per week, but it's worth thinking, how many could you feasibly write, film, and edit, and then release per week, per month? That kind of thing. Maybe this is your full-time job. Maybe it's just something you're doing as a hobby. Certainly, a lot of YouTubers start out with a very irregular release schedule. They just film a video and play it whenever they want. But what they end up doing is they as they get more popular, they find that they can do it on a more regular basis and they start creating a release schedule. Will you rotate content type? Will you, for example, you could release a lightweight little vlog or a short on a Thursday. You could then release your sort of high quality content on a Monday. And then you've got 2 releases a week. People know when to expect your videos. And this is really useful if you're going to be doing regular release scheduling, where you're releasing not just sort of, maybe two videos a week, then it's worth making sure that they are being released on the same day every week so people know when to expect them. You can even link content to the specific days of the week. So for example, you could do a Fun Facts Friday, where Friday is for fun facts. You could do reviews on Tuesdays. You could do diary content on Wednesdays, linking different content to different days of the week as well. Again, the idea with this is to make sure that your audience knows kind of what to expect, and that's what you can provide them, that certainty. Then once you've worked out what you're going to record, you need to structure the video. Now, every video, every story, and every single video on YouTube is a story. Even if it's nonfiction, even if it's just advice or a recipe or something like that, it still follows the structure of a story: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So the beginning is always going to be our hook. Straight away, we've got to give people a reason to watch. So the example I always think of is the first ever Star Wars movie. I don't know if any of you have seen Star Wars. I hope you have. But the first Star Wars movie starts with just a black screen, and then there's that big orchestral music and the title crawl. There's a sort of a crawl of text that is, where are we now? What's happened? What's the beginning of the story? Straight away, you've got that epic sounding music, you've got that plot details being given to you. So you at that point, you're either going to be hooked or you're not. And that's the idea of it. You're immediately hit in the face with, this is a film about space and rebellions and evil empires. If you're into that, you're going to be hooked. If you're not, you're not. Remember, we can't always hook everybody. We're not going to make videos for everybody, but we are going to introduce straight away, this is what the theme of this video is going to be about. Even if you've only got a few seconds because you're making a 3-minute long video, straight away the hook should say, here's what we're going to be doing. Here's what we're going to, here's the point of this video. I'm going to show you how to fix a sink, or I'm going to show you how to cook spaghetti bolognese, straight away. The middle is your engagement period. This is your main content. What are you trying to communicate? What do you hope to get across? What are usually worth thinking about 1 or 2 things that you want your audience to take away. Even if they only take away those 2 things or that one thing, what do you want that to be? And then finally, you finish with a call to action. Always a good idea. Tell people what you would like them to do. If you've enjoyed this video, you can find out more by going here. Or if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and to subscribe to my channel, or leave a comment and tell us what you think, or something like that. Think what your goal is and what you want your subscribers to do. When you're writing for a video, you're writing a script, and it's always a good idea to write a script. It's better to plan than not to plan. And remember, you can always go off your script. You can always, if you find yourself remembering something midway through, you can start improvising, and that can be a really good idea. But if you don't have a script, then you might find that you can't improvise a lot. It's almost always better to have a script. But remember, you're writing this to be read out. It's not just something that you're going to read in your head. Think about some really wonderful sentences in literature. I always think of the first sentence of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Lovely sentence. Really, really good, impactful sentence. Terrible to read out loud. There's too many long words. It's too complicated. The structure's too difficult. It's not immediately obvious what I'm saying. If you see that sentence written down, it's a lot easier to pass. It's a lot easier to absorb and to understand. So it's a really great sentence for a book, but it's a terrible sentence for a YouTube video. I've always said Jane Austen, terrible YouTuber. So what is it that you can do to make sure that you're writing for video? Well, make sure you're writing it the way that you would say it. And frequently, as you're writing it, read it out loud. Every sentence, every paragraph. Get to a point where you're like, okay, let's see how that sounds. Read it out and don't forget to change it up. If you find that you've written something and you're like, okay, well, actually, that doesn't sound great, make sure you change that up. And make sure it matches your style of storytelling, your own sort of flair, your own voice. Not everybody speaks in the same way. And you'll quite often, I speak like I do. I think probably actually the reason why you're listening to me right now and the way that I'm speaking is because I've learned how to speak from YouTubers. I've learned from video essays, not consciously. I've not sat down and watched these video essays and thought, right, how do I speak like that? But I've absorbed what I consider to be good public speaking, good video presentation. And so, unconsciously, that's what I'm doing as we go forward. And you'll maybe notice different, little twists and tricks about the way that I talk, about the way that I pause, the way that I change volume, the tone of my voice. If I were to write a script, I would have to take those things into consideration. I'm not here like a lot of YouTubers who's like, yo, what up? It's your girl, Zoe. I'm not starting my YouTube video like that. I'm not here talking to you like that. That's not the kind of presentation I want. That's not to say that that's a bad form of presentation. It's just not the form of presentation that I want and that I would do well putting across. So I wouldn't write my script like that. Because it is a visual medium, because we are creating videos, it's a good idea to create a storyboard. Not just a script, not just the words, but also visually. What is it going to look like? What images are you going to have? It can just be a sketch. I mean, this is just a storyboard template. If you go to Canva, or if you just Google storyboard template, you can find your own templates for this. But all you would need to do is do a quick sort of stick figure drawing of what you want the film to vaguely look like. So you've got an idea in your head of where you're going to set the camera up and things like that. Think about the music that might be playing or the audio. What's it going to sound like? What props are you going to need? What crew are you going to need? You might be perfectly happy starting out with just you and a camera talking, a lot like I'm doing right now, just talking to a camera. And that might be fine as you start out. But what about later on in your sort of YouTube career? What if you're doing a shoot outside? If you are going around the streets talking to somebody, well, then you would need somebody as part of your crew to hold the camera for you. You wouldn't be able to do the whole thing holding the camera yourself. So think about the crew that you might need as well. Now, speaking of cameras, you can start out with pretty much what you've already got. A lot of people might think that you need something fancy, something elaborate to watch a YouTube video, to film a YouTube video. But actually, a lot of the things you already own are going to be perfectly good. And starting with this. This is a smartphone. Most of us have them nowadays. If you've got a smartphone, you have got a good, high-quality digital camera. And that's it. That's all you need at the start. You need a camera. Most of the phones that you can get nowadays, their camera phones are good enough, definitely good enough to get started and film good high quality video. Now, the one thing I will say that you won't have with a smartphone is a good microphone, unfortunately. If you think about, the camera is designed to film things, but the microphone is designed to pick up sound from here. So if you're using your phone right next to your face, then it's a good microphone. Even then, it's not great. But if you're filming yourself and your phone is all the way over here, well, then it's not going to pick up your sound as well. It's going to pick up the sounds of the background more than you would expect as well, because that's the idea of it. So I would say that if you are going to buy something, probably the best thing that you can buy first of all is a microphone. I'm not going to give you particular brands because frankly, I don't know them. But it is always worth thinking about getting a good microphone. If you do want to buy a camera, a lot of webcams actually have decent microphones built into them, certainly better than your inbuilt ones. If you've got a laptop and you've got an inbuilt microphone there, or the one in your smartphone. So a webcam could be a good investment as well. Then you need to think about editing software. Again, you probably have some editing software. So Windows Movie Maker, if you've got a PC, or iMovies, if you've got an Apple product like a Mac. Those are free programs that should already come with your computer. You'll be able to find tutorials for using Windows Movie Maker or iMovies. And although you're not going to be able to do anything hugely elaborate, you're going to be able to do enough that you'll be able to create a good professional looking video. You can even do quick editing touch-ups in YouTube Studio when you upload the videos. For example, you can add or edit end screens or trim your video before you publish. It's not great, but it is enough. The final thing to think about is lighting. And you can see there we've got an open window. Now, lighting is so important. I am not in a particularly dark room right now. I'm in a pretty well lit room. You know, it's the sun's sort of going in, so it's not that bright anymore. But you know, the lights are on, so it's not that bad. I'm going to turn my light off, the light that I've got shining in my face right now. I'm going to show you what that's like. Ooh, if I can find it. So look at what a difference that's made. Again, I'm not in a particularly dark room, but the light's not even. It's shining. You can see that the top part of my face is a bit in shadow. It just doesn't look nearly as good. Now look at the difference. Once the camera adjusts to the sudden brightness, I'm lit evenly. The reason for that is that I've got a cheap ring light. Now that cost me about £20. It's really not expensive. All it is an LED light, and the even light being shone directly on me, it looks so much better than if I was just in the dark. Even though, again, I'm not in a particularly dark room, because cameras need light. If you don't want to buy a ring light, daylight is one of the best sources of light that you can get. You're going to get amazing lighting if you film in the daylight, but you have to make sure that you're filming so that the light is shining directly on you. So if you're going to sit in front of a window, make sure you're sitting directly in front of a window with the camera between the window and you, so that the light is shining on you and not to the side, because if it's shining to the side, it's going to look really bright on one side of your face, and we don't want that. And that's sort of ways that you can enhance your video further, is with, like I said, a ring light there. Another thing that you can buy is a tripod. If you are going to be filming on your smartphone, a mobile phone tripod is really, really useful. Absolutely could go a long way towards making sure that your picture is stable. It's going to look loads more professional if you're not sort of, you know, wobbling around as you go. You know, this is not as professional as that is. So make sure that you've got some kind of steady surface for your camera. Like I said, ring lighting and microphones, those are really, really, really good investments. I've got this little USB desktop microphone that I use because I'm quite a way away from my webcam, which is, again, about right. You know, you're not, I want to, the picture I want to show when I'm delivering training, I want you to see my whole sort of upper torso. I don't want to be too close, so it's just a head. I don't like that as a shot as much as I like this as a shot. I think this looks lots better. So my camera is a little bit farther back from me. So if I was to just use my webcam camera, it wouldn't be as clear. So I've got my little desktop microphone to help me with that. And then, of course, video editing software. If you get more experienced, you might want to buy a video editing software program. Now, there are loads of different ones out there that all have the different pros and cons. You know, we're not here to sort of recommend one over the other. So do your research and see what there is that you can use to the best effect. Important things to think about when filming. First of all, what can be seen? You'll notice that what can be seen right now in my background is nothing. That's because I've got this. Now, this is a screen. Again, not very expensive. It's just one of those fold-out screens. And that means that I've controlled my background. The only thing you can see is me. I am therefore the focus of my camera. If I took this down, you'd see my bookshelves, you'd see my plants, you'd probably see my dog walking back and forth. All of those things are going to be distracting. It's not that I'm not, you know, it's not that I don't want you to see my bookshelves and my plants. They're very pretty bookshelves and plants, but they are distracting. And they mean that I'm not going to be as clear, because rather than this nice plain background, I've got a busy background. It's going to make me harder to see and harder to make out. Similarly, think about what's visible with you, what's on your clothes. Again, you know, the reason why we at the Google Digital Garage, the clothes that we wear for this are grey with Google Digital Garage written on it. The reason for that is simple. We want you to be able to quickly and clearly see the trainer, not the clothes. If we'd got leopard print jumpers, you'd be focused on the leopard print jumper rather than the trainer who's delivering the message. And equally, when I'm sort of deciding what I'm going to wear jewelry-wise, I'm not wearing anything elaborate. I've sometimes got a little bit of dangly earrings. I don't put loads and loads of makeup on. Because again, the focus should not be on how extravagant I am. The focus should be on what I'm saying and what is on the screen, the presentation. Choose your space carefully. What you want to try and do is to find a room without too much echo. And that's quite hard because any hard wall is going to give off an echo. Now, I'm quite lucky. I've got curtains to one side of me. I've got my screen to the other side of me. And I've got my dog's sort of bed and my sofas to the other side of me. So there's 3 areas that are fabriced. And I've also got carpet underneath me. Fabrics are really good at absorbing sound. A lot of YouTubers, when they start out and even long into their career, if they want to record a voiceover for something, if they don't want to be on camera, but they want to record the voice, the sound for it, they will go into their wardrobe and they will hide among their clothes and they'll start recording, because all those clothes, that fabric absorbs the background noise and stops there from being an echo, which is really good for recording audio. And of course, think about movements. How are you going to move? Are you going, right now I'm sat down. If I was stood up, I might be pacing, I might be moving around, I might be using my body a little bit more. So my camera would have to move with me, or I'd end up sort of in the side of the shot. And this doesn't look great, does it? It's a little bit weird. So I'd want to make sure that the shot was framing me at all times. So if I was going to want that, the camera would have to move with me. So consider that as well. And also, how will that affect your sound? If I've got a static microphone like I've got, this microphone is just sat on the desk. If I move over here, the sound's probably worse, right? Hopefully you can hear that a little bit. But yeah, if I'm over there, the sound's going to be worse. So if I'm moving about, the sound quality is going to change. So some people use clip-on mics that you can get that are just wireless mics that you clip on, and they record sort of directly from like here, from your chest. So you can get good sound without having to worry about having a microphone following you around. Or if you've got the money, if you've got the budget, you can get a boom mic operator, someone with one of these big microphones that they have on a pole that they always keep above you, so that there's always a microphone at the same sort of position above you at all times. So you've got to think about all these things. This is where your storyboard can be really useful, because you can plan these things out. So in order to get a basic edit done, and we're nearly done with the actual practicalities now, some actual things to do when you're editing. So number 1, import your footage and organize it. Unless you're recording everything and editing on your smartphone, which you can do, but unless you're doing everything on your smartphone, you're going to need to import all of your footage from your cameras onto your computer. And if you do that, you can organize your files so it's easier for you to find what you need. Don't forget as well to back up your files so that you don't lose them. So either save them to the cloud, but also make sure you've got a physical copy. Add your visuals and your sound effects. Once you've decided on organizing your footage into the right basic order, you can look at titles, intros, transitions. You don't necessarily want loads of those happening, but you do want to think, when am I going to transition from me on screen to a picture of what I'm talking about, for example. Check your sound. It's important to listen to the audio. You can listen with your eyes closed as well to see if you can notice any distortions, any background noise. There's a free program called Audacity, which is really good for basic audio editing. I'm much better at audio editing than I am at video editing. There's a free program called Audacity that you can use for that. So do check that. And also make color corrections. Maybe the brightness, for example, maybe you are doing your filming using natural light, and midway through the film, the sun went in and a cloud went over the sun. So there's a part of the video where the lighting is a little bit different. Well, in the edit, you can maybe tweak things so that both of those different phases look similar, so it's not obvious that the lighting has changed. Finally, make sure you review the video, make sure you're satisfied with everything, and export it. Prepare to export it. Set the export settings according to your aspect ratio as well, and make sure that you are exporting it to YouTube if your software's got a specific YouTube export option. Once you've done that, you can upload your video to YouTube and publish it whenever you're ready. There's a link that I'm sure Roshane will share in the chat to the Creator Academy, which does have a lesson on editing and how you can go about editing. So take a look at that if you're interested in more. So have we got any questions? Let me just double check while I'm drinking some coffee. Nope, we've got no questions right now. So I'm going to move on to the final section. Last 10 minutes, we're going to look at how to get discovered and how to track your success and work out whether people are actually watching your video. So being discovered, remember I mentioned earlier, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. So how do you get found on that search engine? Because there are ways of getting found on Google, and they're probably, some of you might be familiar with them. But how do you get found on YouTube? Well, first of all, you need to think about the keywords. What are people going to be searching for in order to find a video like yours? Try and make sure your titles are searchable. You know, if you've got a recipe for spaghetti bolognese, your video should be titled something like spaghetti bolognese recipe rather than my favorite pasta, because people aren't going to be searching for the phrase my favorite pasta. They're going to be searching for spaghetti bolognese recipe if that's what they want to cook. You can also add tags. Tags they tell YouTube what kind of content you are. So again, you can add sort of recipe as a tag for that. And then of course, promote your video. Share it on social media. Let people know what exactly you're doing. Share your content. Keywords are important, and you can use tools like Keyword Planner as well as Google Trends to work out what your audience is searching for. Now, remember, you want to use popular terms. Really easy option is to start typing in your vague topic and see what comes up on autocomplete. So here we've got car cleaning. Well, the thing that comes up first is car cleaning guru, then car cleaning hacks. We've also got car cleaning tips and car cleaning satisfying, which presumably is people who want to just watch the experience of it being cleaned. All of those are good things to look at and to see, right, well, this is why people are searching for car cleaning. So is it possible that I can provide something like what they're looking for? Make sure you're writing searchable titles and descriptions. So again, look at what we've got at the top here. We've got mini lemon meringue pies, brackets, easy dessert recipe. In the description, Mama teaches you how to make mini lemon meringue pies. So first of all, the thing that they are cooking there is mini lemon meringue pies. They've got that phrase in both the title and the description of the video. That is going to show people, it's going to show the search engine. If anyone is searching for mini lemon meringue pies, this video clearly is about that. We've also got easy dessert recipe in the title. Now that's relevant, isn't it? You know, it's a description of what the video is. We're not just putting any old word in there. It is still a description of what the video is. But we need to think that some people might not be searching for the specific recipe. They might be searching for something easy that they can make for dessert, in which case, easy dessert recipe is very searchable. Think about things like, for example, 10 steps or how to detail your car, a beginner's guide. So we've just, instead of going 10 steps or how, we've done both. And then again, we've re-emphasized that with 10 basic steps to detailing a car. So yeah, that is a good option. Now, maybe in the description, and you can see that some of the descriptions cut off, but maybe in the description, we might want to get a little bit more specific about what those steps are. So for example, if someone searched for one particular step of those 10 steps on detailing a car, they might still find your video as a result, even though yours is on a broader topic. And of course, make sure you're labeling your content with a series if you have got a series, because that's possible. Make sure you're keeping your subscription short as well. Your description is going to be, you want it to be visible as much as possible, so make sure it's visible on the search screen. Video tags, like we said, we're using a bit of a hashtag. All we're really doing is using keyword hashtags. So as you can see underneath this one, we've got hashtag haul, hashtag toy haul, and hashtag shopping haul. Now, really what we want to do with our hashtags is make sure we're thinking about what we've not communicated in the title or in the descriptions. So, you know, in this case, that's not the case because the title of the video already has toy haul in, but it doesn't have shopping haul. So maybe Super Sorrel is using shopping haul as a keyword because it's not already in the title. And that's going to, again, it's going to help you become a little bit more discoverable without you having to use every single possible keyword in your title. We want your titles to still be, engaging and enticing. Your title is going to be what encourages people to click on your video after all. So we want people to look at it and see exactly what it is. Don't forget to build your community. So remember, you've got a website, you've got social media links, you might have other channels on YouTube, you might have a website. So make sure you're integrating those into your channel, but also integrate your channel there. If you've got a Facebook account, make sure you're linking to your YouTube channel. Do the same on Twitter, on Instagram. You can even add banners or buttons to your YouTube banner that take your viewers directly to your social media pages so they can go and follow you on there, which is a good way of people finding out, when you've got a video out. And promote and integrate your channel as well. So, make sure you're integrating. This is exactly what it looks like. We've got YouTube on Mama Cherry's Instagram. We've got the same logo. I've got the same thing on Facebook, again, same logo. We've got social media posts promoting the content. And then we've also got links directly to the YouTube channel, so promoting it and cross-promoting it. And that is really, really important. And then finally, we want to look at analytics to understand who our users are. Analytics records basically, who's watching your videos, when are they watching, how many people are watching. You can see the spikes in content here. That's almost certainly when videos are released. So make sure if you sign into your YouTube Studio page, analytics is available on the left-hand menu, and it's a really useful thing to look at. You can look at what types of content are driving viewers to your channel. You can look at the sort of suggested topics, the top videos, things like that, as well as what other creators your audience is watching. So you can see what kind of creators you're being viewed in the same lens as. And the things that you want to measure. If you want to know if your content is reaching users, you want to measure impressions. Impressions is how many times people have seen your video without necessarily having clicked on it. If you want to see if they're clicking on it, then you're looking for click-through rate, which is with the percentage of people who see your video who then click on it, but also views. And if you want to gauge whether your viewers are engaged, then you want to look at the average view duration or the total watch time. Are people actually watching all of your video? So we've reached our final question break. It doesn't look like we have any questions, and we are also sort of right at the end of our time. But if we do have any last minute questions, feel free to send them over. In the meantime, just a reminder what you can do to really start your YouTube channel. First, find your niche. Remember to ask those 3 questions: what, why, and who. Make sure you are creating engaging content. Research your content, plan it out, choose the right type of content for you, and then be consistent and create using the right equipment. And finally, make sure you're using keywords, make sure you're tracking your success. And last bit of advice, don't be afraid to try something new. Don't feel like you have to do what the YouTube analytics say that you have to do. Try and keep yourself inspired, because this can be a potential job. That doesn't mean it can't still be fun. You should still be passionate about it. So other things that you can do, remember that we've got our free mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring for anyone who works for a small business or for a charity based in the UK. Again, completely free. You get a full hour-long session with a Google Digital Garage mentor. And that's about it. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments and your answers to our questions. It's been really wonderful talking to you guys today. And make sure that if you would like to learn more, that you're going to g.co/digital garage to see all of our other digital marketing and learning courses that we've got online. Big thank you to Roshane. She's been an amazing moderator. Really happy with how that's gone. I'm sure she would appreciate some thank yous in the chat. And it is always a pleasure working with her. And yeah, that's everything from me. So take care, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope you have a good time starting up your YouTube channels. And hopefully I will see you again on another one of these Digital Garage training sessions. So thank you very, very much and take care. Goodbye.